This is coming out of the state of Georgia, which I know some of you may be listening going, that's a surprise, especially when it comes to limiting free speech or limiting pro-life speech.
In some ways, though, it's old school,
That's
Logan,
why I said
because
it's
some of the
OG.
original cases
the
were
OGA, really.
not even able to pray quietly in front of an abortion clinic without the police being there ready to cite people like my father, who was there in front of it over 35 years ago. So quite some time ago. But Liam, this is quite an interesting case because this is not just someone who was going out in front of an abortion clinic on their own anytime. They were trying very hard to follow the rules of the city where this clinic was located. This pro-life advocate and Georgia member of the pro-life community went out to this clinic, but got a permit from the city to be able to use some voice amplification and things of that nature, and was issued that permit, goes out, starts doing his thing, and then ends up being cited by police in this. Give us a little bit of a rundown of the backstory here and how outrageous this is.
That's exactly right. Jason had a permit for what he was doing, issued by the city. He had it with him at in July, back when he was cited, and Jason was ready to comply with the law. But what the city did was they put a requirement on the permit that said, if you receive any complaints, this permit is null and void. They completely baked in what we would call a heckler's veto.
And Liam, I think that's what's most fascinating here is that you get a permit as long as no one objects. And you mentioned the heckler's veto, something that we've had to fight many times here at the ACLJ, and we'll continue to fight it here. But the irony of having a clause like that in a permit in and of itself is, I mean, if a farmer's market, if someone didn't like that this farmer's market had, obstructed traffic that day and complained, would they be cited? No, we obviously know that there's also a layer of discrimination here. It's because of the content of the speech that this got this far anyways. They give them the permit, and then as soon as someone complains, it's not just that you have to leave, but there's a citation issued. What are we doing for this client in these next steps?
I mean, that's absolutely right. We know that the abortion industry is not stopping at anything, and they will work to silence pro-life voices, including complaining and trying to get these voices taken off the street. And that's exactly what we're doing is we are defending Jason. We're preparing a legal defense here. He's been cited. That means he has to go to court. So we're going to make sure that he's not going to court alone, that he has the full power of the ACLJ legal team defending him, to make sure that, one, that he doesn't have to pay any punishment for this citation, two, that he can continue to spread his message that's being a voice for the voiceless and the unborn, and three, fixing this policy moving forward.
Yeah, Liam, I think there's a lot of people interested right now in the chat asking for a lot of details. I think it's important also to know that, we'll reveal a lot more as we get later on. Sometimes you want to make sure you're protecting your clients, protecting people, because as we've seen before and more recent history, you've seen violent attacks on some of these pro-life demonstrators. If they're out there, they are making a big risk, not just from a legal point of view. Or from a police, they're taking risk from physical protection. So when some people have asked specifics on city and location, a lot of that will be revealed later on when we have a resolution. I want people to know that we're not just hiding that. We have to protect some of this because it is such an active moment here right now, and it is such really an egregious moment for the American people to really be looking at people who are demonstrating on the streets and know that they can do it safely and protected.
Absolutely right. I mean, we need to do everything we can to protect our client and make sure that he can continue to do this work. When it comes to these kinds of cases, it's about hearts and minds. And these people on the front lines, they're doing amazing work. And I think everyone here at the ACLJ is just happy to be able to support them in that role. And
that is why that ACLJ team is there. And that's why people like Liam are ready to go whenever we have a call me. It's legitimately all year long, 365 days. We've dealt with this kind of thing on Christmas. We've dealt with it on major holidays. It's important to make sure we have a team that is ready and understanding that when you become a member of the ACLJ, as a member of our team here officially, like a staff member or a member of the legal team, that there's not office hours. Things don't shut off. We're working 24 hours a day, 365 days out of the year worldwide. Because remember, we have offices in Europe, we have offices in Jerusalem, and in places we can't talk about. The ACLJ is always active. It's always happening because none of these are on some sort of restricted business hours.
And one other thing I wanted to bring up with Liam is, Liam, inadvertently, I'd say, almost has become one of our experts here on defending these clients that are targeted by local officials, whether it be pro-life advocates or people preaching the gospel, whether it be in Chicago, Ohio, now Georgia. But Liam, we're starting to see this pattern. We're getting more of these clients coming to the ACLJ for help, almost in a surge that we haven't seen in some years. Just what you're seeing across the country, it seems like the local municipalities are taking things into their own hands because maybe the temperature in Washington and the federal government isn't restricting Christian or pro-life speech as much as they were under previous administrations. Is it fair to say that you're seeing an uptick in these kinds of cases that are coming into the ACLJ, that you're having to many times go to court to defend these people?
You know, what you guys said, it's exactly right. We are getting requests from all across the country at an unprecedented rate. I don't know what's causing it, maybe, but I can tell you what I see, and that is that voices are being silenced. Well, at least they're trying, from cities all across the country. We've seen it in Chicago. We've seen it in New York, now Georgia. And what I think our legal team is really focused on is being able to respond to as many of those in as much as we possibly can. Our goal is to make sure that anyone who comes to us, hey, I've got a citation, I've got a court date, I don't know what to do, we want to make sure that every one of those people has the legal representation they need.